first thing you sell is not a product, it's yourself. You got to sell yourself. Never lie to clients. Yes, of course, in the end, you want to try and make a sale, but not at the expense of hiding things. Whatever I start properly. I learn it and I move forward with it. I do not look back. No matter how bad the situation gets, you've got to realize it's only for a short time. As long as you're alive and capable, you can fix it.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just have a favor to ask before we begin. If you've been enjoying these conversations and want more stories that redefine success, please do us a massive favor and hit the subscribe button over on our YouTube channel. It literally takes 2 seconds to do and is completely free. It's a small gesture, but it makes a massive difference for us as it really helps us to grow the show. And with that, let's get into the episode. All right, welcome back to the Quest for Success podcast, and thanks for tuning in once again. Today on the show, I'm really excited because we're joined by Ash Jayasinha, who is an entrepreneur, a musician. He's done a few different things, so really excited to dive in and understand his story.
Yeah, so Ash, we got something in common. We went to same school, but I'm actually meeting him for the first time.
Yes.
So I've been recommended by one of my good friends, and he's got awesome story and a lot of experience, and he's coming from a different sort of background. So we want to really explore, Ash, your story, and
Yes.
thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes.
So Ash, this podcast is all about success.
Sure.
And so I want to ask you, a pretty fundamental question to that. And that is, what does success actually mean to you?
I think success is it's quite individualized. So if I think success is if somebody's goal is whatever the goal is, not just a short-term goal like a life goal, and if you achieve that, I believe, and if you're content with it, I think that's success.
Mm-hmm.
So it could mean different things to different people, I guess. Sports people would want to be the top in their category. Musicians might want to have the $1 million record sale.
Yeah.
So
What about you? What's your do you have anything that in your mind?
yes, I think personally, if I can live a comfortable, happy life, do what I want to do, and go where I want to go, buy what I want to buy, and provide for my family comfortably without having to stress over what's happening next.
Yeah.
To me, that's success.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for us to really understand the man that we're sitting down with, we always like to go back to your early life to understand, how you've been shaped. So can you take us through, that early journey?
Sure.
And especially, how you think your parents influenced who you became?
Okay, yes, that's yeah, they did influence me a lot. When I was born in Sri Lanka, and my parents were Malini and Shaman Jayasinha, who ended up migrating here and did a lot of community work here. And I think a lot of the Sri Lankan community know them really well. So they were very artistic, very musical, and they were heavily into drama and so forth. In fact, my dad was the very first Maname Potegura.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and with Dr. Sarachandra. So
It's one of the very
originals.
oldest original stage play, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
stage play, and it was a groundbreaking stage play, and
Yeah.
he was the original
Wow.
cast. So and my mom also has done a lot of work, plays like Naribana and all those things, which I'm sure people
Very
watch.
classical Sri
Classic,
Lankan. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So and both of them are very musically oriented, and so from small days I was exposed to
Artistic,
music
yeah.
and drama and all that sort of thing. And my natural thing was to fall into music line, and I started learning instruments. My first instrument was the sitar.
All
Funny
right.
enough, yes. So so from there, school work happened, and I ended up at I started at Mahanam College,
All right.
and
Same.
then really
Yeah.
that's interesting, isn't
Yeah.
it? So I got through to Anand through the grade 5
Yep.
scholarship.
Same.
Ah,
Yeah.
jeez, common grounds, a lot of common grounds.
Yeah.
And then from there, I got involved in drama, music, all of that sort of thing, and also the English Literary Society, where Anand, obviously, the English medium wasn't very strong.
Uh-huh.
It was a very
Yep.
Sinhalese school, but they formed this society where we could do English literary work and debates and so forth. And although there was a debating team for quite some time, they've never ever won championships. And I, along with another famous Anandian called Ravinatha,
Oh yeah.
we started this team, and we actually were successful. So
Wow.
we were probably 6 or 7 years in a row we won the championship, all island.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Wow.
so then from there, music became my main thing. I got really hooked on it, and at a very early days, I started a band.
Uh,
By the way, while I was doing high school, the band started. This is when uh, civil unrest
all
happened.
right. Yeah.
So my parents brought me over to Australia to study, and
Uh-huh.
so I did that. When I went back, things were not settled yet, so this band started, and
The band was in Sri Lanka.
yes,
Yeah.
and the band I called it Burn. Back in the day, it was quite a popular band. We played alongside some of the big names like Gypsies and
Wow.
Experiment and Upekar and all those people. And we had a residency in Colombo 2000 Meridian, which was one of the first and the most unique nightclubs back in the day.
So this is you're doing this is while you're at school or after school?
While I was waiting for uni, between
All
uni
right.
and high school.
Yeah.
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 So that took off, and then in the end, I came across here to continue
Yeah.
with my studies and whatnot,
Yeah.
and here also started the band.
What
Couldn't
did you
get
call
out.
here?
Here we call it Rhapsody.
All right.
Yeah, it's spelled a bit differently.
Yeah.
R A
Rhapsody.
P S O D, and we actually, I can very comfortably say we dominated the scene here for about 10 years, 10,
Wow.
12 years. We virtually played every single corporate gig out there, and
And what style of music are we talking?
pretty much top 40 covers,
Yeah.
top 40 covers, dance music, that
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we did that quite a while, and my wife and I was sang, and the band, there was a six-piece
Oh wow.
band. Yeah.
So that was when you say wife, you didn't marry in Sri Lanka. You
Yeah,
married
married
here.
here,
So
correct.
you met her here or in?
Yes, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what were you doing? What you were playing an instrument?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to learn a few different instruments.
Uh-huh.
So I played keyboards, guitar. In the early days, I played them all and sang.
Yeah.
But then what happened was uh, I love entertaining crowds. So
Yeah.
I'm a more entertainer, performer,
yeah.
more than anything else. So
Yeah.
I got on the front line, and rest was history.
Do you think you got that from your parents?
Oh, without a doubt, the musical talent, definitely. And the stage personality, I think, is from there too, being on stage,
Yeah.
and also from debating.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no fear of the stage,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely no fear of the mic. Right? So, in fact, I can quite honestly say when I'm on stage, I'm probably the most carefree
Wow.
Yeah.
to a dangerous point,
Yeah.
because I could say things and do things that
You feel more confidence in front of a mic.
absolutely,
Yeah.
it's anything goes when I'm
Oh,
on
perfect.
stage.
You got a mic in front of you now. And I want to know, as a young boy,
Yeah.
what did you want to do? Were you always set on the musical path?
No, the thing is, um, this might sound a bit, what can I say, self-praising, but I was pretty good at my studies. I
Yeah.
got 8 distinctions and all A's,
At HSC, A levels.
HSC, and so I
Wow.
could pretty much do anything. And
Mm.
I did about a year of bioscience, medical, and then rest I fell into engineering.
Oh,
Right. So So, but all the while, the music was my driving force, I got to say. And I'm not sure whether that's a good thing because although we had some success, I think some of my good mates who are now doing extremely well in the in other countries,
Yeah.
these all started together.
Yeah.
So my music was to a point where it actually hindered
Yeah.
my success.
Yeah.
Musically, I was successful, but
Yeah.
with the other stuff I mentioned, it hindered to a certain point because music, especially when I came here,
Yeah.
we couldn't do it professionally like what I did in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So I had to do it as a side job, side gig.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah. So when your parents decided to come to Australia because of civil unrest in Sri Lanka mainly, were you really disappointed?
no, actually, I can't remember being. I was disappointed. Yes, from the fact that I had to leave the band and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which was very bad,
Mm.
very hard to swallow. But I also was excited to come to a new country. I was a young fellow then,
Yeah.
so it was really good exposure for me in Australia, and I took Melbourne, embraced it, and went
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And so I don't regret that at all. In
Yeah.
fact, I mean, the life I have created here
Yeah.
is really good. So
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Yeah.
why
Yeah.
worry about it?
Yeah.
And what did you end up studying? Because you said you did biosciences, engineering. Where did you end up?
Engineering is what I studied, electronics and acoustics and whatnot.
And then
Which
did you follow that path?
no,
No.
no, no. Funnily enough, I then my first jobs here were in the retail sector. I was in retail shops, and in fact, Harvey Norman was one of the main ones. And there, I went on to get my own franchise,
All right.
and that's when everything's kicked up a notch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So Ash, so it seems like there's a lot, right? A lot during you came here as a kid. Did like any time your parents ever push you to go the study path?
very much so.
Yeah.
I gotta say, um, my parents were supportive,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I can easily say, were disappointed that I did not take my professional education driven side of the
Yeah.
thing well.
Yeah.
So I do recall, but one thing about my parents is they will push, give it a fight, argue, but
Yeah.
then if I decide to do something,
Let you
they
support
will
you.
support me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So but when I got into Harvey Norman, got my own franchise, and
Yeah.
the business became successful, that's when I think personally they sort of thought, okay, fine, he's making something out of
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah. So I mean again, so you went to uni, did electronics, and then you had a band for 10 years, and
Then
then
here
yeah,
in
here 10
Australia,
year in Australia,
mm.
and then you went to retail, right? So am I missing something?
No, the thing is, I had to do a regular job
Yeah, okay.
too,
Yeah, yeah. So
because
the
here
bands didn't
band
not enough money for
no, because
yeah,
bands were in Australia. Uh, most of the bands play mostly for fun and
yeah, okay.
enjoyment rather than. I'm talking about bands.
Yeah,
I mean, there are professional bands
yeah, yeah.
here. I'm talking about
It's
bands
more
like
pubs and
pubs and
gigs. Yeah, yeah,
gigs and
yeah, yeah,
weddings and all
yeah,
that
yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah,
So we actually performed longer than 10. 10 was our peak, I think.
yeah,
Prior to that,
yeah,
the band started back in 89,
yeah.
you know. And so although it was successful, we were doing 45, 50 gigs a year.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
literally every
yeah,
week. But it was not an income driven thing at all. It
yeah.
was mostly
Fun.
for a bit of fun. Yeah, so I had to have a job somewhere.
Yeah,
And so retail, because of I think my talking and the delivery,
Yeah.
I naturally fell into retail.
Yeah, definitely. And
Uh,
and like at the same time you were doing, running your own Harvey Norman franchise, were you still doing the band as well?
no. Once
Okay.
I got
Yeah.
into the franchise, I had to give up the band for a short time. Then I started again. But this time I said to the musicians, look, I really can't get that involved. And I got a very good mate of mine to sort of run it and manage it. And I just came and sang.
yeah.
Nice.
So, Harvey Norman again, you start as a retail. What did you start
I
as?
started as a salesperson on the floor,
Okay.
but my audiovisual electronics background helped me a lot. I was probably the only one who knew what I was talking about when it comes to audiovisual in there,
Yeah.
technical stuff, right? So that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And then once I got the franchise, I got to say my wife is the one who pushed me into it.
Okay.
I was quite happy to do that and do the music.
Yeah. Yeah. So she left the band as well?
Well, both left. Then we
Okay.
both left for a short time.
Yeah.
Because our first shop was in Albury.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
Oh,
that's
wow.
Albury, wow.
New
That's
South
far
Wales.
with,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we possibly couldn't do anything,
Yeah.
And retail is, a pretty tough gig.
Yes.
What were some of the lessons that you learnt, starting a franchise or taking over a franchise and, growing that?
Yeah, so that's a good question actually, because I actually learned a lot the business side of it, because back then Harveys were giving us very good training on the back end training of how to run businesses and this that. And so I was trained by people like David Panther, Phil Allison. They're like retail experts, business expert,
Yeah.
and all about how to run a business back end, not work in the business,
Yeah.
but work on the business.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing I learned.
Yeah.
When you're in a business, most often we get caught up with day-to-day stuff,
Mm.
and you're really not working on the business.
Yeah.
And that lesson I learned from there, and which I'm applying to my current business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the biggest lesson I learned. And merchandising and how to market. I was in the advertising committee
All right.
there. And so this didn't happen at once.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happened over a few
Yeah.
years. I mean, I was there almost 20 years.
All
So-
right. So, I mean, that it's very time consuming thing, right?
Very
Running,
time-consuming, yeah.
So when did you decide that this is it? I need to move on to something else?
So my wife and I had a pact.
Uh-huh.
Pact was that once we start a family,
Yeah.
that I'm not doing this anymore.
Okay.
The retail hours, and you have no idea.
Yeah.
Literally had 2 days off as a retail. That's that level of retail. It's not Harvey's is a big
Yeah.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we had 1st of January off, Christmas Day off. That's it.
Yeah.
So and I know that some franchisees, some business owners are not present all
Yeah.
the time. They get management to run it. Yes, that is true. But if you don't have the finger on the pulse, things
Yeah.
can go wrong very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was one of those very hands-on guys.
Yeah.
So one of the things we talked about was once we start a family, I need to pull the pin, and
Yeah.
that's what happened.
And then
Alright.
what was your plan once you pulled the pin?
So I made a lot of connections in the audiovisual industry, speaker manufacturers,
Yeah.
amplifier manufacturers, and importers. So I knew I can always find something there, right? So I was not too worried about it. So in the end, I did join a couple of those companies as a product manager to develop new speakers and stuff like that,
All right.
right? And but I gotta say, I didn't enjoy any
Yeah.
of it. I think by this stage I was sick of consumer electronics and so forth,
Yeah.
Okay.
right? So then a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, said, "Why don't you get into real estate?"
Uh-huh.
Right? And I said, "Man, I don't know anything about the real
Yeah.
estate." He said, "No, first you
Yeah.
sell a few properties for me,
Yeah.
right? And I'll give you a little commission on the side. You can
Okay.
do that while you're
Okay.
doing the other things and see how it goes." And then I started. I really liked it. Then I got qualified and got my licenses and started my own company back in 2019.
Uh-huh. All right.
COVID hit.
Just before.
Just before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And funnily, actually, COVID helped me a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because obviously I couldn't go to the normal job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were at home. So this helped me develop the whole thing, set it up. And also back in the day, if you recall, the government was giving a lot of
Yeah.
incentives for home buyers.
Mhm.
That came very handy for me.
Mhm.
And business took off. And
Yeah.
so rest was history after that.
Yeah.
And it seems like, you're a natural born salesman. I want to,
I think I am.
yeah, I want to get some advice from you.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the core lessons or skills that you need to be, really good at sales?
Number one thing,
Yeah.
without a doubt, I'm happy to argue this point with anyone. First thing you sell is not a product, it's yourself.
Mm.
You got to sell yourself. When
Yeah.
you walk through that door, if I don't strike a rapport with you
Yeah.
and I don't break the ice, you're not going to give me the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you do, it'll be very superficial. So I need to understand you.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the next point. What's the thing that most people like to do?
Mm.
Talk about themselves.
Mhm.
So instead of me talking about my day,
Yeah.
I got to ask about your day. What you're wearing,
Mm.
nice watch. Where'd you
Mm.
get it from?
Mm.
I like the
Yeah.
like the way you get that printed from.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
conversation
Like
strikers.
little talks, right?
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
small talks.
And then you'll open up.
Yeah.
And when you open up, everything falls into place.
Mm.
That's the number one lesson I learned.
Yeah.
Second thing is never lie to clients.
Yeah.
A lot of salespeople spin bullshit, and
Yeah.
to some degree,
Yeah.
they don't deliberately
Mm.
lie. Maybe some people do, but some of them, if somebody asks pros and cons about this product or the property or whatever, you got to give the pros and cons,
Yeah.
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 right? Yes, of course, in the end, you want to try and make a sale,
Yeah.
but not at the expense of hiding things,
Yeah.
right? And the third important thing is follow up.
Uh-huh.
Once the sale is done,
Mhm.
what happens next?
Mhm.
Is the client looked after? Was the thing delivered correctly, installed correctly? In the case of property,
Mm.
have they found a tenant? Right? No, that's not my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's a property manager's
that's the
job.
property manager. No,
Yeah.
that's
No,
not
no.
that's not how I do
Yeah.
things.
Mm.
Yeah, so to this day, we built since last 3 years, we probably built over 200 properties. I construct. When I say I don't build, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
my job is constructing new property,
Right.
right? And mostly investor focused,
Yeah.
right? So and mostly high yield, not just a normal residential stuff.
Mhm.
I do that as well.
Yeah.
But the company focuses on high yield investments.
Yeah.
So when you talk about high yield investments, we follow through to the end,
Yeah.
at least find the first tenant or whatever the case might be, or introduce them to an agent who can
Yeah.
do the job
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That follow through is the third most important thing in a sales process.
Yeah. That's good advice. What I learned about sales is not to sell. That's exactly what you're
Yeah,
saying,
correct.
right? So
You don't sell. You're
Yeah.
really talking about pros and cons and help
Yeah.
the client decide.
Educate. You're an
Educate the
educator.
client. Correct.
But do you see, Ash, like when your experience that you got through Harvey Norman
Hmm.
help for the real estate?
I definitely think so. Yes,
Yeah.
especially in the marketing and the promoting. And Harvey Norman's very compliant driven.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, have to be. They're a big company, so even things like these little things like it was this price, is that price. You can't do that.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of legalities involved. Little
Yeah.
shops get away with it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you don't find that in big shops like Harvey's and Meyer and all.
Yeah. And also real estate is all about emotional selling, right? Like, because it's such a big deal,
Oh,
right?
it is
Buying
a
a house.
single biggest
Yeah.
purchase you'll ever make.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, and for some people that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they
Yeah.
put their life saving on it. So you got to treat this as such.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. This is something also another something in common between us. I used to be a licensed real estate
All
agent
right.
as well.
Oh my.
We'll talk about that later.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And I want to ask this because it seems like you do so many different things, or you've done so many different things. Do you have any advice for people who are like have so many different passions? Like,
No, I do not. Yeah, okay. Let me put it this way. When you're younger,
Yeah.
naturally you get drawn to various things,
Mm.
right? Because you're young and you think you know it all, and but then there comes a time in life, particularly when you start a family, and that's when you got to really think, okay, how long can I do this for? Is it viable? Is it sustainable? Am I going to be successful in it?
Yeah.
And then you got to focus on that. You
Yeah.
can't jump rails. Now, even if you drop me $1 million over there and say start another business, I won't,
Mm.
because
Mm. But when you're doing multiple things, any point that you felt like I'm sort of lost. Like, am I going the right direction? Because your head was in music and you're studying or working in electronics. Ever thought, oh, I'm not sure. Am I really focused or I'm going in the right directions?
See, that it's a good question again. So I'm one of those people. Whatever I start,
Yeah,
I start properly. I learn it and I move forward with it. I
yeah,
do not look back.
yeah.
Whatever I start,
No regrets.
no regrets. It's bad. I took it to the top,
Yeah,
right? As top as I could get,
yeah,
right? Anything, studies, I got the went to the best
yeah.
I could
Best
get.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
And Harvey Norman, I drove that to the max.
yeah,
So this is no different. This business, my own business, same thing.
yeah.
You got to go all the way, put an effort in, learn the product, and go for it.
Yeah.
And I want to go to your own business, that transition from franchisee to founder.
Yes.
Take us through that transition.
Yeah. So one of the things I learned about on the franchise is that you got no fallback. You got to make money,
Yeah.
right? There's no one there to give you a wage or cushion you when you fall.
Yeah.
So having done that for a decade or so, when I started this, when I was working for the speaker companies and all that,
Mm.
prior to this,
Mm.
I had a fallback.
Yeah.
But I wasn't enjoying that fallback because I couldn't make the decisions I want to make.
Yeah.
Because I had to be answerable to the actual business owners.
Mm.
So when I started this, I knew I had no fallback.
Mm.
So I had to go for it. And that's when that franchise experience came into play.
Mm.
How do I market this? What do I do differently?
Mm.
Right? There's so many real estate agents.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. How you differentiate?
How do I differentiate from one to the other? So I am what is known as an aggregator.
Okay.
So basically, I don't talk to clients much.
Yeah.
I don't talk to buyers much.
Yeah.
There are very successful individual
Agents.
marketing
Yeah.
companies.
Yeah.
I'm the what can I say, the aggregator for 22 of those,
All right.
right, across Australia, and some of them even have offices in Vietnam. And
Oh, nice.
so when they have investors, so I have multiple options of different investment products, like your multi-room accommodations and dual keys and triple keys and even NDIS homes, the home for
Oh,
the
wow.
disabled, all of those things.
Yeah.
So when the client comes in wanting a particular investment, and the agent tells me, Ash, this guy here is looking for something like this sort of return with
Yeah.
this sort of thing. So I source the whole thing,
Yeah.
right, and provide it to the agent. Then he sells it.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's for you to start and grow into real estate, that kind of a area, you need to have a lot of knowledge.
Correct.
How did you gain that knowledge fast?
So basically, I actually spoke to builders, visited sites, and take the NDIA scenario, for example. I actually made an appointment, went to the NDIA commission, and I had a chat with them. What is required? What are the pitfalls? And then how do I buy the property in the right area? Who can provide me the feasibility reports and all of that sort of thing?
So
Right?
you didn't go through the courses, books. You more practically
Practical, correct.
like went to people
Went to people.
and people probably said, "Ah, not interested, go away." But you went to someone else, like that kind of a hustle,
Correct.
pretty much.
Correct.
Yeah,
And I actually did a lot of research. Who are the people who are doing this well, and
yeah,
spoke to them.
yeah, yeah,
What are the problems you
yeah,
had, and
yeah.
so forth. Yeah.
And were there any mentors or people that you had in your life to help guide you throughout your journey?
I'd like to say yes, but there isn't. The only people who helped me in a way is my parents backed me, supported me,
Yeah.
but even they didn't really, uh, didn't really, what can I say, pave the way.
Yeah, yeah. You discovered yourself.
I discovered it myself. Everything I've done so far is myself.
Yeah, yeah,
A couple of people along the way, like my friend who said, "Why don't you do real
yeah,
estate?"
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, that was a help. That
yeah,
was it.
yeah,
Now he has become one of my agents.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. So Ash, someone like Dylan, right? So Dylan going through a bit of a change He was an
Right.
engineer, changed into entrepreneur, and he's still discovering himself. What kind of advice you can give, like, someone not 100% sure of what's his real destiny?
How old are you?
25.
Okay, you're young. Okay. On the one hand, I think
Yeah,
if you can do what you love, absolutely love, it automatically becomes a success, provided you do it properly.
yeah,
So if you actually love what you do, it's not a job anymore.
yeah,
It's like you're chasing a passion.
yeah,
So you got to find that. And I don't know, at 25,
yeah,
I thought my love was music, but
yeah, yeah,
clearly not.
yeah. So can I challenge on you on that?
Okay.
So don't you think your love today may not be the love tomorrow?
Quite true. Very true.
Yeah,
It's very circumstantial. Now,
yeah,
I got to say, along with the love comes the practicality of it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
If you ask me what do I love most, definitely entertaining people.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely. But
yeah,
I'm not Bruno Mars.
yeah,
So I can't make a living out of that.
yeah,
I'm not Bruno Mars even looking at it, but don't have the right hair.
yeah,
But you know what I mean.
yeah,
So I got to,
absolutely.
okay, yes, that's what I love, but
You know your limitations,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
that's it. What am I going
yeah,
to do after that, right?
yeah,
So that's the decision,
yeah,
right? If you're, for example, these young sports people who
yeah,
get paid millions of
millions.
dollars
Yeah,
playing for sport,
yeah,
they followed their passion. And let me tell you, it's not easy,
yeah,
right? It's not easy
yeah,
getting there. But at some point, you got to
Yeah, yeah.
see, are we going anywhere or not with this?
yeah. So passion, love, maybe the future, that probably combination, right?
Correct.
Like, so all cross path,
Correct.
probably the focus need to be.
Yeah. And also, another important thing is your age.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, when you're 25, you got a few decades in front of you. You can take a chance,
yeah,
experiment.
yeah,
But when you're my age, 62, right, you don't have that luxury.
yeah,
So what you do now has to stick.
yeah,
I can't change direction now.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I want to go to, a lot of your journey, I feel like, has been backed by your curiosity and creativity.
Yes.
How important, has creativity been to you in all facets of your life?
I think that's number one. Even in my current business,
yeah,
I spend hours and days thinking of, now, let's say you're an agent.
yeah,
You're an agent. You don't go to the builder directly, you come to me.
yeah,
Now, why? Because I can offer you something that
yeah,
you going and finding through, you can't find through the builder.
yeah,
So what is that something?
Yeah.
What can I do to keep your interest with me?
yeah,
So I always think, what can I do to
yeah,
be different?
yeah, yeah,
Right? And that's a fair bit of creativity comes into play,
yeah, yeah,
along with market knowledge, right? But creativity has a lot to do with it. You really have to work out how can you be different.
yeah. So you mentioned market knowledge. Do you think market knowledge more talking to people, or how do you?
Market knowledge, you only get uh, being there for a while and
Yeah,
dabbling in it and experimenting.
yeah,
That's how you realize okay, that's not a good one, this is a good one.
yeah,
That sort of comes with a bit of experience.
yeah,
And also there are tools out there,
yeah. Of course.
programs,
Yeah,
portals you can study, and you got to put a bit of effort into it to research.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's where you get the market knowledge from.
And when you started Savvy Spotter,
Mm.
what was the gap in the market that you saw?
So the gap in the market there was, first gap I saw was that everybody was selling properties. Nobody was helping tenant it and follow through,
Uh,
make sure the builders have done
Yeah.
the job properly.
Yeah.
Right? They sign the contracts, get their commission, and see you later.
Yeah.
But I've told even when I was dealing with clients directly before I
Yeah.
became an aggregator, I always said, CC me in on everything.
Yeah.
I might not get involved with your conversation every
Yeah.
time. If you're talking to the builder to ask him when is the kitchen going in, I'm not getting involved with that.
Yeah.
But if I see there is a problem and I see there's a block somewhere, a bottleneck, I will step in. I will pick up the phone, speak to the builder and say, hey man, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So that is something that I did
Yeah.
differently. And the second thing I did was, because I fell into the investment category, I made sure tenancy was successful at the end. Right. So we have now, in the last 6 months, we've lots of the jobs are coming off the ground. So
Yeah.
we virtually tenanted more than 80% of them.
All right. So you mostly look at like off the plan.
Off the plan, some are halfway constructed,
Okay.
some are almost finished.
Uh-huh.
But if there is no rental result,
Yeah.
I won't even look at it.
Okay.
If I feel that I can't
Yeah. Yeah.
service this
Yeah. Yeah.
requirement, I
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah. And I want to get, your insights from your entrepreneurial journey now that you've been running this. What has been some of the key lessons of running your own business?
One of the key things is being prepared for a rainy day.
Uh-huh.
I got caught big time 5 years ago
Yeah.
because in the construction industry,
Yeah.
somewhere around second week of December, all the trades shut
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
and then they don't come back in
Till
virtually after
Yeah.
after
Boxing.
Australia
Australia
Day.
Day.
Yeah.
Virtually.
Yeah.
Dribs and drabs coming.
Yeah.
But if you're not prepared for that,
Yeah.
you're in all kinds of trouble because there's nothing you can do, no one you can talk to.
Yeah.
And clients are asking questions, you
Yeah.
got no answers. I got caught badly there.
Did you learn it from the hard way?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Next year onwards, I was ready for that.
Yeah. So how important, like sometimes to learn from hard way, like, sometimes it's not really failure, but it's a difficult situation, right?
Yes. Yeah, I got to say one thing. This is a philosophy I have actually followed throughout my life. No matter how bad the situation gets or how good the situation gets, you got to realize it's only for a short time.
Mhm.
As long as you're alive and capable, you can fix it.
Yeah.
Pain is temporary.
Yeah.
Temporary. Even happiness is
Good
temporary.
and bad, right?
Good and bad.
Yeah.
So you're having a good time with people,
Yeah.
enjoy it, because
Yeah.
tomorrow you might not be alive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So when things have gone bad, I always think, hang on, this is not going to last forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
There has to be some
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah.
And another thing I follow a lot is every problem
Yeah.
has a solution.
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
If you haven't found it, that means you're not looking correctly,
Yeah.
or you're not looking at the right solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every problem has a solution.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, what happens, it's a human nature, I guess. When there's a problem, they get
Panic.
frustrated,
Yeah.
panic, and they take the wrong decision and makes it worse
And give up.
and give up. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
give up. That's a lot of people do that, which is
Yeah.
very bad.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Do you, I mean, this is interesting, your story, because you've gone through the whole 360 degrees, like from a musician to, going to corporate and then become entrepreneur. Like, so you have everything. Like, um, do you like those kind of challenges coming your way sometimes?
Well, I don't like it, but if it comes, I take it head on. For example, if something happens right now, number one thing everybody will say is, let's say this place catches fire now.
Yeah.
Who had the stove on? Who? I won't ask that question.
Yeah.
What does it matter who had the stove on? What do we do now?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go through the balcony and see, can I jump off that, rather than
Yeah.
who did this?
Yeah.
So when something goes wrong, everybody starts pointing fingers. It was your fault, your fault. Who did it? You shouldn't have done it.
Mm.
What's the point?
Mm.
It's here now. The problem's here. What do we do to fix it? So that is a very, very important thing.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you kind of develop people or manage people in your organization? What are the key principles that you use?
I pretty much have a chat like this.
Yeah,
Yeah. And pretty much tell them these little principles
yeah,
about the fleeting moments
yeah,
enjoyed and
yeah,
or problems that can be solved and all that
yeah,
sort of thing,
yeah.
right? And
Openly,
openly discuss with them.
Yeah,
And I also tell them another thing. At the end of the day, guys, nobody's paying your bills.
yeah,
You pay your bills.
yeah,
So remember that. So whatever you do, make sure that you're ready for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm,
So yeah,
yeah,
simple things like that.
And I want to know, like, for me, you know, music is like a great way to kind of separate myself from, you know, the day-to-day hustle and
Yeah.
bustle. I want to know from you, for you, you know, as a professional, how important still to today is music for you?
I absolutely enjoy music, love it. But the problem I have is why I don't. I listen to it superficially now because I get into it too much. I get too deeply involved, and that's why a lot of some of the band members let's do something on the side. I said, no, because I want to practice every week. I want to get the best mics, the best speakers, the best this, best that. I need to get a proper sound engineer,
yeah,
and I need to practice once at least
yeah,
a week.
yeah,
And then I need to go and make sure the sound is installed correctly. I want to be there.
yeah,
Where's the time for all that?
yeah, yeah.
So now I say no. I listen to a bit of music and just I think, yeah, well, that
Yeah.
was in the past.
But do you think you will ever say, well, I had enough of all these things, making money, or I've done that. I wanna I wanna get into full-time music, enjoy my life.
I can't see me doing that.
Really?
No. I will put it this way, I will never stop everything and do music, but if time permits, I wouldn't mind getting back on stage,
Yeah,
but not in a full-on way. I don't know whether I can even do that.
yeah. All right.
Because I got this, as I said, the insatiable desire to
Yeah, because I
go
can
hard.
see there's a musician stuck in your body,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Anytime it could explode.
yes. I absolutely love it, but as I said, practically not
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to go to your family because I know
Yeah.
you kind of gave things up when you started having a family. What are the values that you're trying to instill in your kids?
First of all, I say the same things like do not run in a direction that you cannot maintain,
Yeah.
right? Which is what I did, right? Short-sighted decisions, but it's very easy to say this because kids can be kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then if you're doing something, do it properly,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Do it properly. Don't give a half-assed
Yeah.
job because that's not going to get you anywhere,
Yeah.
right? So, and then the other thing is that a very important thing is do not burn bridges,
Uh-huh.
right? Because I think we all succeed, a majority of it mainly due to connections,
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
You burn bridges and somebody turns around and says,
Yeah.
ah, that guy is a prick,
Yeah.
he didn't do
Yeah.
the job right,
Yeah.
whatever. It's never going to go right.
Yeah. For kids development,
Mm.
how important music?
Um, I think music is wonderful in the sense like it gives you a feeling of escapism even for that 3-4 minutes of the song.
Yeah.
But then again, there's music and music. I don't condemn any form of music from Led Zeppelin to that, who's that guy who does singing rock music, suicidal music,
Yeah.
and the devil's music and whatever.
Yeah.
All that is music.
Yeah.
Different people appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge that, but I think music will influence you one way or another.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy good music, that your emotions are under control.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the same time, if you enjoy bad music,
Yeah.
your emotions are not in control.
Yeah.
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 You know.
And I want to know how you juggle the different roles in your life. Obviously, being a father and, you know, working in real estate, running a business. Like, How do you juggle all those things?
I got to say, my wife helps a lot with a lot of the, because these boys, I got two boys,
Uh-huh.
14 and 16, and one of them does soccer, basketball, and gym. The other one does footy, basketball, and gym. So my wife takes them around a
Shuttle
lot.
bus.
Yes. But I gotta say, like, thankfully, because I'm running my own business, I tell people,
Yeah.
like, tomorrow between 4 and 5, I can only talk to you. I
Yeah.
can't go anywhere because I have to take my son to basketball or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So I'll say, I'll talk to you, no problem. Or when I'm in the car, I can do Zoom. So I
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I park the car and the kids are training or playing, and I conduct a Zoom.
Yeah.
So I managed to do that, luckily. So you can't give up one for the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have to work around it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of given up your Harvey Norman franchise business and because mainly focus on family,
Correct.
and then you still continue with business, another business.
Yes, I'll tell you the difference. So with the Harvey Norman business, you you own the rights to trade as a franchisee,
Uh-huh.
but you do not
Own
own
it.
the rights of the location.
Okay.
That's the business model they have.
Yeah.
So every few years, they shuffle. Now, by the way, if you walk into a Harvey shop, there are 5 franchises there: electrical, computers, bedding, floor
Oh,
covering,
yeah.
and furniture.
Mm.
It's one shop, but there are 5 individual franchises.
Yeah.
So if I'm an electrical guy, they can, and you're an electrical guy, let's say I'm in Dandenong, you're in Springvale, every 2, 3 years, they will swap us over,
Oh, wow.
right? Because they don't want store blindness.
Mm.
The
Okay.
management team in head office, Jerry and the team there,
Yeah.
they don't want store blindness, because after 2 or 3 years, there are certain things you do
Yeah.
that might not suit the business. There are certain
Yeah.
things I do that might not suit that business.
Mm.
Different demographics,
Mm.
right? So they look at the business, say, okay, this, I'm just giving a very
Yeah.
simple
Very high
example.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. This guy, they will say, okay, Jam's good at selling kettles.
Yeah.
All his kettle business had gone through the roof.
Yeah.
But his TV business is suffering.
Yeah.
Ash is selling a lot of TVs, but his
Yeah.
kettles have gone down.
Yeah.
So let's swap him out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
lack
so
of
they do that a lot.
uncertainty. Yeah.
Correct. I'm giving a very
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
basics, I don't know, like
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
high level thing, but that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So in now 20 years or so as a franchisee, I've gone from Nunawading to Albury to Canberra,
Mm.
back to Albury, Greensboro, Preston, and Broadmeadows.
Wow. All over the place.
So I just could not do that with the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas my business now,
Yeah.
it is where it is.
Your office is wherever
Office in
you are.
Chadston, home is Endeavour Hills,
Yeah.
car is
Yeah.
another office.
But that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Wherever you are, that's a business,
And
right?
nobody asked me to go to Canberra.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the difference. I'm in control
Yeah.
of the situation.
I mean, you had an agreement or sort of discussion with your wife saying,
Yes.
okay, we do this. So when your wife had kids, so she went looking after kids full time, or
Yes.
she still helping you with the
No, she
business?
was actually my operations manager in all the Harvey Norman
Okay,
franchises.
okay.
But once she was pregnant, she took a
And
back step, and then
operations
onwards,
manager at home.
at home.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
at home.
And
Yes.
how important to have a understanding partner?
Very amazingly important.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
And they got to be on the same wavelength, and they have to have the similar sort of passion.
yeah,
And it's very hard to get that.
yeah,
I'm very lucky like that.
yeah, yeah,
But that is important. Otherwise, it's a disruption,
yeah.
because that's when things happen. You're spending too much time in the shop. That was
Yeah.
never the case. But we had an agreement,
Yeah.
and we stuck to the agreement.
I guess that's also come from relationship, right? Even your wife, it's like part of your life,
Of course.
but it's also a relationship, right?
Of
So
course.
do you think you had many years together playing in the band, doing all that stuff really helped you to sort of understand
Oh,
each other?
definitely.
Yeah.
100%. We could, like, I know where she's going when she turns, and same with me.
Yeah.
She will know exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're singing duets and all that, all you have to do is look at
Look
each
at
other. You know where we're going with this,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it helps a lot, definitely.
Yeah.
And working in the same business
Yeah.
helps a lot. But very often, I've heard a lot of people, oh my God, I'll never work with my wife.
Wife. Yeah.
That's because they don't know where to draw the line.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, let me tell you.
Yeah.
In the shop, I call the shots.
Yeah.
At home, no, it's not the case.
Yeah.
We divide and conquer, and most often she calls the shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's reality.
Yeah.
And she never oversteps the mark in the shop. No, she would not.
Yeah.
And I want to ask this of you, like, is there a greatest piece of advice or greatest book that you've read that has, shaped your perspective?
Greatest piece of advice. I've read a lot of books, but I can't sort of put a finger on one.
Mm.
But I think the greatest piece of advice, we've talked about it before, is life will always throw challenges at you. Always. Doesn't matter whether you're a billionaire or
Yeah.
a homeless guy.
Yeah.
And the challenges are different to different people. What is a challenge for you
Yeah.
may not be a challenge for me, but it's a challenge for you, and that's the reality of
Yeah.
it. So when the challenge is thrown at you, number one, do not worry about how did this happen? Why me?
Mm.
Why not me?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how you got to
Yeah.
ask. Why not me?
Yeah.
If somebody else could have got it, why not me? Then work a way to solve the situation and move on, not linger over the problem.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
best piece of advice I can give you.
absolutely. Great advice. And Ash, what's next for you? What are you putting your time and focus into now?
Well, luckily for me, I can continue to do what I'm doing now because it's not physically challenging.
Yeah.
Right. And unless I end up with dementia or something,
Hope not.
I enjoy the job. I enjoy my business, and
Yeah.
I enjoy the time I have with family. We go away on holidays, and
Why enjoy real estate more than anything? Like,
well, I found that I find that, well, for starters, when something is going good, you enjoy it.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah. Of
most
course.
important
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And secondly, I find that I get I keep myself on the toes.
Yeah.
By always thinking of different angles, different
Yeah. Keep you still
y-
energized.
energized. Correct.
Yeah. Brain is
Now,
working.
correct.
Yeah.
Now, even today, I caught up with a couple of mortgage brokers,
All right.
and I said to them, I need an angle. What's your angle?
Yeah.
There are 15 mortgage brokers I can call right now, but
Yeah.
what's your angle?
Yeah.
So that quest for the angle
Yeah.
keeps me going.
Yeah.
I like that challenge.
Yeah.
And Ash, is there a way that you'd like to be remembered or a legacy that you'd like to leave behind?
No, if people think I'm a good bloke, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ash, looking back on on the journey that you've spoken about, which has been a fascinating journey. I feel like there's been so many twists and turns.
Yes.
But given, your definition of success was largely around finding contentment, do you feel successful?
I feel successful.
Yeah.
I'm I mean, that can change in a second, but
Yeah.
touch wood.
Yeah.
But right now, I wouldn't trade my life for anything. It's working well, and I've got the freedom to do what I want when I want, and so I think from a perspective of my life and my goals, I think I've achieved it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not expecting any more than that.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about your boys? Like, are they into music?
They're very talented.
Yeah.
Both of them play instruments and both of them sing very well.
Yeah.
But for the life of me, they will not do it. They will not go. They're very sporty.
All right.
Very sporty, both of them. All they do is play one sport or another.
Yeah.
or go to the gym and keep fit.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got that from, not from me.
But what their interest, like what they're thinking of doing?
Well, my older boy is very logical and mathematical.
Yeah.
So he's going down the path of, he's in year 11 this year. So
Uh-huh.
he might end up in some sort of a business field, I guess.
Yeah.
And Levi, my older fellow is Denzel.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool names.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So Denzel's that way. Levi, on the other hand, is very good at talking, writing. He's
All right.
very eloquent, and
Yeah.
he's not short of a complete opposite to
Yeah.
Denzel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think he will maybe orator, politician.
All right. Cool.
I don't know. He's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
outgoing personality. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So what happened if your boys come to you and say, Dad, let's start a band? Would you go back to music?
Of course. Of course I will. We've done, my wife, Ali, Denzel, Levi, me. We actually formed a small band and did one song for my sister-in-law's wedding.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just for kicks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's fascinating. Like,
Yeah, this has been an unreal conversation. But I suppose throughout our discussion, I've been trying to jot down what I think are some of the traits which you embody, which I think have been part of your success. And I'd like to share them with you.
sure.
The first one is you're incredibly relationship driven. And, even the advice about sales is obviously, just build that rapport, build that trust
Correct.
first. And, it's all about relationships. And I
Definitely.
think it comes down to your personality as well. You're obviously very open, very, motivated by building relationships. Even on the musical stage, it's all about connecting with other
Connecting
people.
with people. Yeah.
The next one is being values driven. And I think what I meant by that was, there was a core part there where you were talking about, rather than just selling something for selling's sake, is like having the integrity to, do it for a reason and, tell the pros and cons, like have integrity throughout a transaction or a dealing. So lead with integrity and the
Yes.
rest will sort itself out. The next one is, your curiosity.
Mhm.
You didn't know something, so you went and sat down with the NDIS commission, you went and sat down, talked with all these people. And I think that innate curiosity, rather than just going, okay, I don't know, oh well, whatever, you go, I don't know this, I need to go and find out.
Find out.
And I think that's a huge driving factor in a lot of the people we've spoken to. And then the last one is your action oriented.
Mhm.
And you mentioned if this place was on fire, you wouldn't point fingers. You'd just figure out what's the next step. And I think that's a really important thing. It's so easy to get caught up in the blame game.
Correct.
But forget about that. We're wasting time. Let's just get in there and get things done. And I think that's a fantastic trait to have.
Yeah, and also not just action, right? You do it exceeding expectations.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that we can see through this discussion, and it's amazing, Ash. I didn't really know anything about you until this morning or this chat, and it's really nice. A lot of takeaways for us,
Thank you.
and that's the whole purpose of doing this podcast.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your journey and
Thank you.
all the key takeaways and
And Ash, if people want to find out more about you or what you're
business?
doing, your business,
yeah.
where can they find more information?
So Savvy Spotter has a website.
Yep.
It's a very basic website, but they can always call me.
Yeah.
And through the website, you can contact me.
Awesome.
Right. And it's got all facets of what we do there.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is drop a line in or give me a call.
Perfect.
Happy to talk.
We'll put the link in the show notes below.
Absolutely.
Ash, thank you so much for this
Thank you.
discussion. And
Thank
for
you
our
very much.
listeners, if you've gotten something out of today's episode, it would mean the world if you can like and subscribe. It helps us to get to more and more ears. And you can see all of our episodes over at our website, thequestforsuccesspodcast.com. And with that, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening.